On the edge of a forgotten coastal town, where ocean waves crashed against sharp black rocks, stood an ancient lighthouse known as the Lantern of Havenridge. For more than a century, its golden light had guided sailors through storms and darkness. But now, the lighthouse was quiet, abandoned, and slowly being reclaimed by the sea breeze and creeping vines. Miles away, in a bustling city full of noise, traffic, and tired faces, lived a man named Alexander Ward. He was 35 years old, successful on paper yet empty in spirit. Every morning he rode the same train, drank the same bitter coffee, and stared through the same skyscraper window, wondering why his life no longer felt like his own. One evening, after another long day of tasks that meant nothing to him, Alexander received a message. A relative he barely remembered, his great-uncle Elias, had passed away, leaving him with something unexpected: the lighthouse at Havenridge. Alexander almost deleted the email, but something quiet and ancient whispered inside him. Go. 3 days later, he was driving along a narrow coastal road, wind roaring through cracked windows. When he finally stood in front of the lighthouse, it looked far taller and lonelier than he imagined. The ocean below roared like a creature trying to warn him. Inside, he found dust, broken furniture, and stacks of old journals belonging to his great-uncle. The first page of the first journal read, "A lantern is not just a light, it is a promise." As nights passed, Alexander found himself reading more of Elias's writings. Stories of storms survived, sailors rescued, nights spent awake tending the flame. One stormy night, as lightning struck the sea and wind rattled the windows like angry fists, Alexander heard something. A pounding at the lighthouse door. He froze. Again. Bang. Bang, bang. When he opened the door, a young girl stood shivering in the rain, soaked to the bone. "My brother!" she cried, pointing toward the cliffs. "He fell! He's stuck!" Without thinking, Alexander grabbed the old lantern off the wall and ran into the storm. The wind howled, waves crashed, and dark rain blinded him. But he followed the girl's shaky directions until he heard a faint cry. Clinging to the cliffside, inches from the raging sea, was a boy no older than 10. Alexander's heart pounded. Every instinct told him to step back, to leave, to run. But something stronger pushed him forward. The lantern's light cut through the storm like a golden blade. Alexander crawled to the edge, gripping slippery rocks, and reached out his hand. "Take it," he yelled. The boy hesitated, terrified. "I've got you," Alexander said louder this time. "I promise." And at last the boy reached out. With every muscle shaking, Alexander pulled him up, fell backward into the mud, and held the trembling child as waves crashed below them. When he returned to the lighthouse, villagers had gathered. People he'd never met. People who never looked twice at strangers. They stared at him in awe. "You saved him," an old fisherman said. "You kept the light," whispered another. That night, as the storm faded and dawn painted the sky with soft gold, Alexander sat alone in the lantern room. The light glowed gently beside him. For the first time in years, he felt alive. He felt purpose. He felt home. He opened one of Elias's final journal pages. "One day someone will come who needs the light as much as the light needs them." Tears filled Alexander's eyes. He finally understood. Life was never about success, comfort, or applause. It was about beginning again, even when afraid. About choosing purpose over routine, courage over fear, and light over darkness. From that dawn onward, Alexander Ward became the new lantern keeper of Havenridge. Not because he inherited the lighthouse, but because the lighthouse had finally found the one who would keep its promise alive.